The movie starts with Andy, who was looking for something. Then the boy standing behind him started cutting the fruit with a knife, oddly, then began eating the knife along with it, due to which his mouth was getting injured. Seeing this, Andy became very panicky, and, removing the knife from his mouth, he started taking him out of the house to take him to the hospital. But this boy did not want to go out. Somehow, he drags him out of the house, but there was a white circle outside the house, which he was not able to cross. Even his condition started deteriorating while trying to go out, and his body started shaking in such a way as if there was something else inside it. Seeing all this, Andy gets very scared. Then the scene shifts to 1 week earlier, where Andy's dad dies mysteriously while taking a shower. After which, Andy becomes extremely stressed. Andy and his sister Piper can barely see anything. Both of them were adopted by a woman named Laura, who was already raising a mute boy whom we have seen earlier. Laura had a daughter who was blind and died due to accidental drowning in the swimming pool of the house. Andy was sad to hear this, but otherwise, he was finding Laura's behavior very strange. The limit was crossed when Laura introduced them to her dead dog, whose body she had preserved. Now these people come to the back side of the house while looking at it, where a child wearing only pants is seen in the empty swimming pool, who had caught a cat so tightly that it started feeling pain. Hearing the cat's screams and cries, Laura comes here and takes the cat from that child, and now this child Oliver turns and looks at Andy for the first time in such a serious manner that even Andy gets scared. Later, when Piper asks about Oliver's appearance, Laura lies to her that Oliver is a very cute child with curly hair. However, the reality was completely opposite. Now Laura measures the stature of all of them, which Andy finds very strange. Well, now Laura gives Piper the room of her daughter, and Andy the one next to hers, and when Andy is talking to his friends, he feels that Laura was listening to him quietly. Even when he ignores Laura and gets up to take something, Laura grabs his phone and starts reading his messages. This makes Andy very angry, and he even tells Laura that there is no need to touch my things from now on. Now Laura takes Oliver downstairs as the night falls. She turns on a video of some old ritual there, and she starts showing it to Oliver. The same thing happens the next day as well. Laura takes Oliver to the outside storeroom, and Andy finds this very strange. Well, when Andy wakes up in the same morning, he sees that his bed was wet. He is surprised that he had no such habit. When he goes to the washroom to take a bath, and he turns on the shower, the sound of water falling from the shower reminds him of his dad, and he gets scared again. It is shown a few days later that the funeral of Andy and Piper's dad was held. But both of them were not sad, because their dad used to beat them a lot. In fact, they had become quite relaxed after his death. Laura also compels Andy to kiss his dad's head as a last goodbye. But Andy does not do this either. Laura cuts a lock of their dead dad's hair after his funeral. Well, when they are coming home from the funeral, Laura notices that both of them were very sad. So she tells both of them that let's go home and we will party. It becomes necessary to celebrate our peace after anyone's death. Otherwise, the sorrow will overpower us. Following Laura's advice, they also have a good party at night. They dance and enjoy a lot. They had also become very drunk, and Piper had already slept. But Laura and Andy talk to each other here about their feelings. Laura tells that ever since her daughter has died, her mental condition has become very bad. Now she can do anything just to hear someone calling her mother. And Andy also tells her here that his dad used to torture him since childhood. That is why he did not feel any sorrow about his dad's death. Rather, he is feeling very relaxed and free after his death. Andy goes to sleep after talking about all this, and Laura does a very strange thing here. She puts her urine in a container and pours it on Andy's bed, and when Andy wakes up the next morning, he sees that the bed was wet again, and he gets worried. Why did he start doing this every day? Now, when he goes downstairs with his clothes in the morning to wash them, Laura acts as if she does not know anything looking at his clothes. On the contrary, Laura and Piper together make fun of him, and Andy gets even more embarrassed. Andy wanted to go to the washroom and take a bath, but whenever he went to the washroom, he used to see the vision of his dead dad. That is why he bathes under the garden tap, instead of using the bathroom. At the same time, he sees on the window on the other side of the garden that Oliver was looking at him. Then suddenly a fly comes in front of him, which Oliver kills with his hand and eats it. Seeing this, Andy feels very strange, and he also realizes that something is definitely wrong with Oliver. He thought that Oliver must be hungry. That is why he takes Oliver to the kitchen and cuts fruits for him. The knife with which he had cut the fruits, Oliver strangely holds that knife in his hand, due to which his hand also started getting injured. Andy also did not pay much attention. He was taking out some other things to eat from the cabinet at the back, when Oliver started eating the knife, along with that fruit, due to which his mouth got injured. This is exactly the same scene which was shown to us in the beginning of the movie. After getting the knife out of his hands and mouth, he quickly tries to drag him out of the house to the hospital. But Oliver is not able to cross the white circle outside the house, and his health starts deteriorating there itself. Laura arrives there just in time, and she scolds him while pushing Andy away, that quote, "You have made a big mistake by taking him out of the house." Laura takes him to a room in the basement, and she starts performing the same ritual on Oliver after taking out a video of a ritual. We see that Andy had become even more terrified after seeing that blood-soaked knife upstairs. As soon as Andy goes to Oliver's room to check on his health, Laura comes out and scolds him and says, "Beware. You have no right or permission to go to his room or take him anywhere. I am here to take care of him." We are also shown how she took care of him. She draws circles on his head and murmurs some spells, which means she was doing a ritual on him. Laura was definitely doing black magic on him. As night falls, we see that Laura puts the lock of Andy's dead father's hair into Oliver's mouth, which she cut earlier. On the other hand, it is shown that Andy was still trying to get over his fear. He goes to the washroom and turns on shower. But this time too, on hearing the sound of the shower, all those things start going around in his mind when his dad died. In a short while he falls down, and when he regained consciousness, he found himself in the hospital. He was very panicky. When the doctors are also unable to handle his condition, they inject him with a sedative. When he regains consciousness, Laura had come to meet him, and she brings a bottle of perfume for him. She says to him, "Apply this, you will feel refreshed." During all this, Andy tells Laura to first promise him that she will never let Piper go out in the rain. Andy was getting strange thoughts nowadays, that if her sister goes out in the rain, she will die. On coming home, Laura deliberately takes Piper out in the rain without listening to Andy. They also play in the rain, and Laura sees a glimpse of her daughter in Piper in that moment. She also gives her daughter's clothes and asks her, "Do you want to stay with me forever or call me mother?" Look, Andy will turn 18 in the next 3 months. Then he can legally take your custody, and I want this decision to be in your hands. She was asking with so much love. She was expecting Piper to take her name, but Piper took Andy's name here. Laura's face tensed with anger on hearing Andy's name. But she did not say anything wrong to Piper and spoke with a sugar-coated tongue that, "Whatever you want will happen." After this, Laura takes Piper to a strange room and opens the freezer and asks her to touch the things kept inside it. Actually, there was nothing inside this freezer but a human corpse. Laura's own daughter's corpse, or rather her corpse, had been preserved in the freezer. After a few days, Andy also recovers and returns home, and he notices Piper's shoes as he comes home, which had the wet mud on them. He realizes from this that Laura ignored his warning, and she took Piper for a bath in the rain, and now he starts suspecting Laura even more. It is night, and we see that Laura had started her ritual on Oliver again. She draws some circular marks on his head with her finger and starts chanting some spells. She had also played a video of the ritual in front of her, as she was doing it. Seeing all this, Oliver's eyes turn completely red, as if some demon has entered them. After doing this magic on Oliver, she comes back to her room and applies the same perfume on her body which she had gifted to Andy. After which she comes to Piper's room and runs away after punching Piper's eye hard. When Andy notices his sister Piper's eye swollen so much in the morning, he asks her, "Tell me who did this to you." Now since Piper could not see, she could only identify who did this to her only by his scent. She smells both of them and says that Andy has done all this to me, because the smell that she had felt last night was coming from Andy's body this time. Piper had no idea that all this was planned by Laura, so that Piper would agree to stay with her instead of going to Andy. Laura tells Piper to provoke her that, "Andy has started to act like your dad, just like your dad used to torture you. Now Andy will also do the same." Now Laura tells Piper that, "Whatever Andy is becoming, I don't think you should go with Andy. Even if he turns 18, I will keep you with me." Laura kept blaming him while standing, and Andy kept listening because his entire attention was outside the window where Oliver was taking a bath, and there were some strange things on his head. When he starts recording this whole scene on his phone, he sees that some horns have grown on Oliver's head, and he has turned into a devil. He wanted to show this thing to everyone, and tell everyone the truth about Laura, but Laura beats him up and snatches his phone. Now Andy pounces on Laura to free himself, and he starts punching her hard, but instead, he punches the wall because he did not feel right in hitting Laura. Piper, who was only able to hear the sounds of all these things, she thought that her brother Andy had injured Laura. He had harmed her. That is why she gets angry at Andy. Andy leaves from here sadly after listening to his sister. He immediately goes to the council head, who had given the custody of both of them to Laura. He wanted to tell all the people the truth about Laura, and he also sees a child in the picture of missing people in the council office, who looked exactly like Oliver. He now goes to the council, and he tells them that, "I think Laura has kept this child at her home after kidnapping, and Laura also performed strange rituals on him." This old woman was not believing him after listening to Andy. So Andy says to her, "Come with me if you don't believe." We were shown at home that Oliver had gone mad. His stomach was bloated, and he was running like a wild animal to eat everything. He had wrecked the whole house and the kitchen. He had eaten everything. And as soon as Laura comes in front of him, he holds her tightly and bites. Laura, scared of him, frees herself and locks herself in a room, and Oliver now starts eating the wooden table outside. Now Laura bandages her arm going into the room, and she sees that Oliver is now standing in front of the window outside her room. She makes circles on this window while chanting some spells, and we see surprisingly that Oliver had come under her control by doing so. Now she takes Oliver to a secret room, and Andy calls his sister Piper from here so that he can tell her the truth about Laura and warn her to save herself. but the one who picked up the phone was Laura herself. She understood that Andy is coming here with someone else, and her truth will come out in front of everyone in this way. To avoid arousing suspicion, she quickly starts cleaning the whole house. She quickly cleans all the mess that Oliver had made here, and sets the house exactly as before. By the time Andy and that woman reach here, Laura pretends as if she has just come out after taking a bath. That woman starts talking to Laura, while Andy goes to the storeroom downstairs. He is shocked by what he sees there, because Oliver was eating the raw body of a dead child here. Andy screams so loudly in fear that the woman also quickly rushes there. Laura keeps stopping her from going there. It must have been something small. I will check myself. Laura's stopping makes this woman even more suspicious, and she goes there and sees everything with her own eyes. She now believes Andy's words. She immediately wants to run away from there and call the police. But before Andy and this woman can go away from this house, Laura comes from behind in her car and hits both of them hard. This old woman is killed on the spot, but Andy survives, but he was also badly injured. Seeing this, Laura did not panic. Rather, she plunged Andy's face into the nearby water so that he could not breathe and died there. We see here that Piper had also woken up from sleeping. Now she starts searching for her brother Andy in the whole house, and Oliver comes in front of her, whom she was trying to feel by touching whether he was Andy. In the meantime, Laura arrives and asks her, "What are you doing here?" Piper does not respond in anger. Instead, she says, "You lied to me." Oliver is not a beautiful child with wavy hair. He does not even have hair on his head, and his face also looks very strange to me. Tell me, where is my brother Andy? Laura catches hold of her and starts taking her towards a room without telling anything. Now Piper was also scared of her, so she dodges and immediately locks herself in the washroom, running there. In the same washroom, something hits her foot. She sits down and feels that it was a human body. She moved to touch his face. Piper touches his face. Her hand grazes his braces, and she realizes that it was none other than her brother Andy. Piper understood that Laura is not a good lady. Rather, her intentions are very evil. She was also not able to understand why she was doing this. In the meantime, Laura also unlocks this washroom, bringing keys, because she knew that these children have come to know all her truth, so she does not lie anymore and tells the whole story that why she is doing all this. She says that, quote, "I had contacted a demon who promised me that he will give me my daughter back. But for that, he needed an innocent soul, which she got in the form of Piper. I brought you here only so that you may be killed. Once you die, see how my daughter will come back to me." Piper is terrified when she hears this. She grabs a nearby glass, attacks Laura, and tries to escape. Before Piper runs away from here, a table comes in front of Piper, making her stumble and fall unconscious. Now Laura comes here and picks up Piper and takes her to the swimming pool at the backside of her house, where a lot of water had filled due to rain. She holds Piper underwater and leaves her to die. As soon as Piper goes inside the water, she regains consciousness, and she tries to save herself by squirming and begs Laura for her life, but Laura was hell-bent on killing her. Then Piper requests her, "Please, Mom, leave me." And on hearing Mom's words, Laura's heart melts. These were the only words she wanted to hear for so many days. Now Laura's maternal love awakened, because of which she left Piper and also took her out of the water. She even took out her sweater and made Piper wear it so that Piper doesn't feel cold. Piper's life was just saved from one danger when another danger came. Oliver came and caught her. He wanted to eat her raw, but Piper tried her best to save herself, and she pushed him away from her while kicking. Oliver fell quite far away. His condition started deteriorating a lot. Due to the injuries on his stomach, he starts vomiting blood. He starts writhing in pain, and in pain he crosses the white circle that Laura had drawn around this house. As soon as he crosses the other side, he becomes completely normal. Whereas we see here that Piper tries to run away quickly, and she comes in front of a car while running away from here. The man sitting inside the car helps Piper and rescues her. Later, we see that the police had also arrived here who rescue Oliver. The post-credit scene reveals that Laura had now drowned inside the swimming pool along with her daughter. She had decided to take her life along with her daughter because she had come to know that she would never be able to bring her dead daughter back to life. And the movie ends here just showing this.